Hello, students. Just welcome back to another science lesson. We're wrapping up chapter 1 of our phase change unit. We're just going to split the last lesson in chapter 1 over today, and tomorrow will be kind of your final, a little bit of a bigger assignment. It will be kind of like, it'll count as a quiz, but it won't necessarily be in a quiz format. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and present something on an exit ticket that you had last week. Be on the lookout. Hopefully by tomorrow, if not by end of day tomorrow, you'll have some sort of feedback from me in your student email on that exit ticket. You don't have it yet. But I want to go over this because I think it'll help you with the lesson for today and the rest of what you need to do today. You should have your science notebook out, so you should have these definitions in front of you, or accessible anyway, in some fashion in front of you anyway. Number 1, the definition of phase belonged with letter C. This might not look exactly like the matching question that you had, but it was close enough, so I just included it. A phase is a noticeably different form or state of the same substance. A molecule is a group of atoms, which is letter B, joined together in a particular way. For scale, that is the relative size of things. Remember, we talked about the micro scale versus the macro scale, are the two types that we've been looking at, or the molecular scale instead of the micro. Number 4, the freedom of movement is letter A, the way molecules in a substance move around relative to each other in a particular way. Please ignore my wireless keyboard, keeps popping up, but that's okay. And then for this first drawing of a molecular drawing on the solid phase, what that should look like is all the molecules are really tight and close together. Think of it like students locking arms, like in a Red Rover thing where people can't get through them, or you're bunched up in a close crowd. Phase 2 is liquid. A molecular drawing of that would look like molecules like little dots spaced out a little bit more. Think of that like maybe if you go to like, I don't know, a Sadie Hawkins dance or something, and people are dancing with each other and moving around and it's crowded, but people are still able to move around a lot. Phase 3, the gas that you see on your screen there, the molecular drawing should look like dots that are really, really, really spread far apart. The molecules in a gas are trying to escape from each other pretty much. They're bouncing all over the place. Think of like sometimes when you go into an indoor recess in the gym and you've got students running around everywhere, balls flying everywhere. It's crazy. To keep in mind, though, to kind of ground us in why we're looking at all of this stuff, is remember the original question that came up is we found this lake on Titan, and Titan is the Saturn's moon, remember? There's a methane lake that we found that disappeared. And there's two possible things that could have happened there. Claim 1 is saying the lake froze. Claim 2 is saying the lake evaporated. And we know now what freezing and evaporation means, but we need to find out a little bit more information to figure out what happened to the lake. So you'll see this diagram in your lesson that solids or molecules can kind of move in place. In liquids, molecules can move around each other, kind of flowy. And in gases, they can move apart or away from each other. So I just want to stop sharing that presentation with you to go over our key concepts, which you do have this on your screen in your lesson as well. You should have been in the last section. Added to page 2 of your science notebook. A phase change is when the molecules that make up a substance experience a change to their freedom of movement. This phase change is a macro scale, so something you could see with your eyes, change in appearance. The second and last thing that you needed to add to page 2 of your science notebook for today is a change that can be observed at the macro scale, or the bigger scale, can be explained by a change that happens at the molecular scale. So things that we can't see are basically making up things that we can see. Which cannot be observed with the naked eye is the molecular scale. So that being open in front of you will probably kind of help you to refer back to your science notebook and those key concepts for your next part, which you should be here, looking at these different phase change videos. You've seen them before, but you're going to watch the video each time. And for each question, you'll notice there's 3 questions that go with each video. They're all the same question, but they're going to have different answers. For each video I'm trying to think, what is the beginning phase? Is it a solid, liquid, or gas? And then what is it turning into? What is the end phase? And then the third thing I'm going to ask you is, are the molecules in that phase change gaining or losing their freedom of movement? So for example, if you're going from a solid to a liquid, or melting, then it's going to be those molecules are really, really tight together, close for a solid. And as they gain freedom of movement, they're able to move around more. So they get more energy. They actually start to move a little bit apart. So they would be gaining energy there, gaining freedom of movement. So it's all about how the molecules move as to how phase changes occur. This is actually going to be the last thing that you need to do for your lesson today, because I'm going to actually review these answers with you tomorrow before your bigger assignment that I'm assigning you tomorrow. I do not have an exit ticket for you today or tomorrow. This is the last thing you got to do. Good luck. You can do it.